So in this video I am going to be talking about food. Yay! So I have a cup of this is, I think, rooibos, and it has some hibiscus as well. I actually finished my hibiscus tea, so I don't know what I'm going to do because I love to drink hibiscus tea together with honey since I came back from Egypt, and now I only have rooibos tea with hibiscus. I actually put a tiny bit of honey into this mug as well. I mean, it is really good, but I just like the pure flower hibiscus together with honey. It's really good, especially if you're a female. It's great. It's supposed to be like a beautifying type of mixture or whatever. But I wanted to talk about food. I am vegan most of the time. I mean, potentially if I have some food and I mean maybe someone had made food and they maybe have by accident added, let's say, cow's milk butter into it, and they are not aware of it or they forget about it and I don't know about it. Maybe I have consumed something in such circumstances, but not by intention, you know. I try to stay away from it, like animal products, all the time. And especially when I go to restaurants as well. For example, when I was in Egypt, I went to some restaurants where they had nothing on the menu that wasn't including an animal. And I had like the longest, and it was like a 5-star restaurant, one of these. And I had the longest sort of conversation with the waiter about this. I was like, I don't want any animals, non-animals, and he was like, oh, but this one only has parmesan, or this one only has cream. And I was like, no animal at all, nothing from an animal. And he was like, oh. And then he was like, but we have fish. And I was like, no, that is also considered an animal. And at the end of that whole discussion, they were really accommodating, so they were able to find, like, you know, make a salad. It didn't even taste good, if I should be honest. They added mushrooms, salad, orange, pistachios, and something else that doesn't go, you know, doesn't work. I never before that restaurant visit had mushrooms together with oranges, but yeah, anyway, let's drop that topic. But I actually wanted to, because since I'm vegan and plant-based, I have actually gotten into some new ideas about what I want to sort of move my sort of food whole diet type of, in what type of direction I want to take it. Because I feel like if you have been vegan for a while, if you have been plant-based, at some point you get to this whole thinking about, okay, why don't I make my own food, you know? Why should I always buy my food from some supermarket, you know? Why should I buy all my greens? Why should I buy all my, like, everything, you know, all the vegetables and stuff, you know? I don't have any balcony, I don't have any land, not like on a regular basis where I would be able to have some planting, like to grow my own food. Obviously that is probably the best thing you can do if you have that option to like grow your own food, because then you are self-sufficient, you don't have to spend money on food, and you know what you're eating, and you also know, you know, sort of how it is made and all these things. But there are small things you can do if you have no like balcony, outdoor garden, and if you are even traveling and you are like, you want still to add some, be part in that, you know, whole process of actually making your own food and ensuring you are getting nutrient dense food and not just empty calories, you know, because that's the whole difference here as well. Most people who are going vegan and plant-based, they will actually get more nutrient dense food than what they have been eating before, because a lot of people today, what they are consuming is just empty calories. You know, they're eating all these white breads, candies and stuff, and it's just like sugar, and there's no nutrients like that is packed in the same, you know, amounts that it should be in consideration to the amounts they actually are taking in, you know. So they are, either way, they are lacking nutrients, you know, even if they're eating a lot of carbs. So there is a huge difference between consuming food and actually getting nutrients, you know. Nutrients is another, that's like what you should aim at, but a lot of people, they just overeating without actually getting the nutrients that they actually should be eating. That is a problem today. But I will show you some stuff that I actually do when I have, like, now if I'm going to be in a place, or if I have like my student place, whatever, for like 1 week, one thing I will do, and this is something my aunt, one of my aunts, I have a lot of aunts, actually taught me when I was a small kid, and that is to make some sprouts. So these are mung bean sprouts. They come in, you know, in a huge bag. I will show what they look when you buy them in the supermarket. So what you can do with these, and I've been eating sprouts since I was a small kid, not so much at my parents' house, because they wasn't really into these whole, you know, healthy, nutrient dense food stuff. They were more like eating whatever, you know. But my aunt, who I spent a lot of my weekends at, she was like teaching me a lot of these nutrient stuff, you know, sort of food things. And I learned how to make sprouts. So what I typically would use is alfalfa sprouts or alfalfa seeds, which are tiny little seeds. You put them in water, let them sit there for around 6 to 12 hours, rinse out the water, be careful so those seeds stay inside of the jar and not falling into the sink or wherever you're rinsing them. And then you let them sit on a window, like on a window sill or whatever, for some time, you know, for like 1 week or something. And you will rinse through those seeds around 2 to 3 times every day. So I mean, in the morning and in the evening is a kind of good routine to have. And then they will start to sprout and you can start to eat them. And if you want to, when they have gotten like a little bit bigger, you can actually put them into the fridge to slow down the growth process. Same thing with the mung bean sprouts. Whoops. Okay, so these are just mung beans. What you can do is that you can even put these into water, let them soak for around 12 hours. So you can put them in the evening, rinse them off in the morning. You can boil them if you want to, or you can even, because they will get soft, so you can actually put them into some food stuff, but still I think you should boil them if you only have had them for 12 hours. But also you can sprout them, you know. So it will take like 2 to 3 days to get some sprouts. And so these seeds, they are like green. You don't, and one thing I want to point out here, if you're going to sprout, you only need a glass jar, and you can cover the top with some something that will allow for the air to sort of penetrate into the jar, because you don't want to have it sealed, because these are living plants that you are trying to grow, or seeds or whatever. And also a little goes a long way. So for this whole jar I put just you know, the bottom, cover the bottom maybe 1-2 centimeter, and now it is this much, and within a couple of days this whole jar is going to be almost exploding with you know, sprouts. And yeah, so it will take around 2 to 3 days before you have small sprouts, and then you can leave them for up to 1 week. And if you have still not eaten the whole jar, you know, you can start to eat after 2 to 3 days, maybe 3 days is a good, and then you can eat them for every single day, like have a portion, or depending on how many people will be consuming. You can obviously, you know, increase the amounts that you're making, or I mean, there's like no, you can eat as much as you want of these, you know, but yeah, you will be able to eat them for up to even 1.5 weeks. You don't want them to get like bigger than this, I would say, because then they will start to be more like a plant. You want to eat them as a sprout, you know, so they should be more like just growing. And yeah, and so it's a very enzyme rich food. And for anyone who is like into this whole anti-aging movement or whatever, trying to sort of slow down the aging process, or sort of try to age their body and so sort of, you know, physical appearance with more with ease and grace, they should eat a lot of like enzyme rich food. So sprouts is really good as well for like the metabolism, or like the also like the food that breaks down. It's very easy for your body to sort of digest these type of foods, and also they are very, very nutrient dense. So a lot of proteins, a lot of nutrients. I always feel like very like energized without any effort after eating these type of foods. And because it doesn't take a lot of energy for the body to break down, so you're getting a lot of energy, but not like in a sense that it's going to be energy that is like empty calories, because these are packed with nutrients. So you will be full and you will feel like you are satisfied eating these type of things. You can put them into salad, add them in any food. Raw version of consuming these are probably the best. Another thing you can do is buy some fresh herbs. So this is just like, what is it called? I'm trying to think in English. Cilantro or persil. So, and this one is just like, sometimes you will find them on sale in a supermarket. Grab one. This one is actually organic, but it was on sale. So I mean, I got it for a good price, and it's kind of a huge plant, you know. And the good part with this thing is that if I chop off part of these leaves, there will still be some more leaves growing out, you know. But obviously I will consume this plant within a couple of weeks, you know. But it's still like nice also adding some color if you have a kitchen or you have some area wherever you want some color, and you can actually eat it, you know. Obviously I have another project I'm gonna get into, but I didn't find seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grow my own salad. I'm gonna try it out, because I have like some weeks that I know I will be in one location. So therefore I'm gonna, like, you need approximately 3 weeks, you know, if you're going to try this out at home, and you need some good light, okay? And you can buy these really like lights in some car sort of supplying shop or whatever, or industrial type of supplier. So I'm gonna make, but I will make a video if I getting into that. But I was trying to find seeds for salads, different varieties of salad, but everything was sold out in the city where I am at. Everything was sold out. They said like, oh, it's the end of season, you know, and I was like, oh, but you can grow these things indoors, so why should it be end of season, you know? But I'm gonna try order online. And also another thing you can do is to make sprouts out of what is it called in English, radish. I think it's called radish. And also broccoli. You can sprout those things. And there are some other types, lentils. If you have whole lentils, you can sprout those as well. I love lentils. I almost eat lentils every day. Like red lentils is my thing. It's so simple to make. But you can actually sprout them if you have whole. As well with green lentils, black lentils, you can sprout them and have very nutrient dense food. Lots of protein, macronutrients, micronutrients and everything. So I'm gonna try and make my own salad, but that's going to, and actually grow it indoor. But I'm gonna make another video of it, but I just wanted to point out here that I'm gonna order some seeds. So, and probably some seeds that I will test out doing some sprouting of, such as broccoli and radish, because radish is quite fast growing, so it will take around 3 days for it to actually sprout. Another thing I want to highlight here is millet. So millet is a type of ancient grain. I first time tried millet when I went vegetarian when I was around 11, 12-ish. So I tried millet then, and then I was sort of just, I don't know, it just fell out of my sort of vision. I wasn't craving it, I didn't think about it. Probably had millet sometimes over the years, but nothing that I have sort of actually purchased and be like, oh, millet, you know. But it is an ancient grain, and I actually was craving millet for some reason, and I think it's after I went to Egypt. I sort of got into this whole honey thing, and I found out that millet is also a grain that was used in the ancient Egyptian type of food staple. It was a staple. It has also been a staple in since like I think 4000 BC in India and in like Greece, and I don't know exactly the year time when it was used in Greece, but over even in China before rice became a big staple, millet was used even there. So it has been like across the entire earth, and there's like a grass, different varieties of grass that is actually making these millets, because it's like small seeds. It's actually a seed, it's not a actual grain, but it's considered a grain, you know, because you can use it as form of grain. And it's like the one that I purchased is like a whitish type of yellowy tone. It's the only one they had available. And this is actually considered a form of future food, because if you have this type of awareness for the environment and all these problems that going on with how we are sort of, you know, putting pressure on the environment. For example, rice is considered, yeah, it's vegan, it's plant-based, super good food. Yes, but it consumes a lot of water to actually make rice. You know, the plant needs a lot of water in order to grow it. So it is a problem when you're growing a ton of rice to feed like a lot of people and only having rice, and the water that you use for the rice, it will end up being no water, drinking water, you know, potentially, because of all that water that goes into, you know, making, I mean, you could use that water that is used for actually making rice to actually use it as drinking water. So one thing that has been proposed as a solution, or like a, you know, replacement, or like, you know, not really a replacement, but just, you know, taking in some like balancing up the whole diet situation, is actually millet. And it has already been used for a long time in, for example, India, which has a lot of rice type of food. So it has already been used there, but it has, you know, in India today there is like this whole rice focus, but nowadays there is still this new movement about going back to millet and all these things. So, and millet has around 11, every 100 grams has approximately 10 to 15 grams of protein. It has a lot of carbs, which is good. It has I think it's around actually 10 to 15 grams of protein. Yeah, I think something like that. And it also has, let me see here, it has some fats, which is also good, because you need, you know, it's good to keep those macronutrients balanced. And also it has like a lot of like micronutrients such as B6. It has like 100 grams of hish, that actually in Swedish it's called hish, but in English it's called millet, you know. So millet actually has, for example, every 100 grams approximately, it depends on, of course, the millet, the grass where the millet is coming from. There are approximately 7 different grass where you can find millet from. But it has like 34% approximately of iron that you need every day. It has the same 34% of zinc, 54% of B6, 27% of magnesium, 27% of riboflavin, I mean just B vitamins, you know. So millet is a great sort of grain. You can make porridge, you can mix it together with some vanilla, like vegan vanilla yogurt, good make combination actually because of the texture. You can make some vegan beefs, you can use it as a replacement of rice, and you can you know, mix it up and make your salads more like you know, foodie, or like you know, like a proper meal or whatever. And you can use, yeah, you can use it whatever you want. You can use it in desserts, you know, like add some honey to it and whatever, you know. So those things are all I'm going to share here, but I'm gonna get into ordering some seeds, and then I'm going to try and make my own salad situation, and I will try and report on that and see how it goes, because I haven't done it before. But I used to have my own garden house, so I'm a quite good gardener. As long as I have stay in one place, I'm able to care for the plants, because otherwise I'm useless gardener.